Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Farm. Thinking right out here in the lab. What I do for you? Ooh, I got something nice for you. Nice quick one though. Shouldn't be that long. Let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thing is mission, and that's what I'm on. It's to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. Right thinkers, your job, your goal is to know thyself. I give, you receive, you use them, you will know thyself. Let's go. I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And always to Mayat be true. I'm about to give a quick Q&A. The lesson, I ended the lesson, so now I'm gonna give a quick Q&A. I think I got maybe 2, 3 questions, but it should be quick. So right thinkers, let's talk about Q&A from lesson 2. This one is question and answer. The question, what is the tree of life in terms of a vehicle to achieve higher consciousness? Good question. I like that part. Okay, now understand the tree of life is like a ladder. Remember Jacob's ladder? Okay. The spinal cord is the vertebrae. That's the ladder to the brain. That's the 32 years of 33 degrees of masonry, the 33 bones in the spinal column. Another lesson. But if you will, okay, it's like a ladder, if you will. Get to understand, I'm trying to give you the concept. Now, it is like a web, aka the matrix. Just gave you that lesson. Yeah, I said matrix, but it's like a web of connections. They're all interchanged that connect the physical with the spiritual. As above, so below, the yin and the yang. Spirit, matter. They come together. When you come into the matter, matter got to raise back up to become spiritual, to go back where it come from. It's real simple, and I've seen people break it down in so many different ways. So for you to be ignorant of the concept or understanding certain things, that's a you problem because everybody's talking about it. Now, a tree, in this sense, is like a ladder that makes the connection. Ordinarily, you think of a tree that rises up from the ground and reaches up, okay? But it actually connects what? The earth to the sky. What kind of tree is that? Tree of life. The tree comes up from the earth, from the seed that was planted. It rises up its trunk and then spreads out its branches. And the top of the tree, you have the sky. And at the bottom of the tree, you have earth. And you can climb a tree and get to the top also. How? Likewise, you can climb the tree of the Anoyan Theurgy. The tree of life of the Anoyan Theurgy is an arrangement of God and goddesses, concepts and principles of the Neteru, who are connected, and their connections, that which binds them, allows their principles, there you go, to what? To be understood through mythological stories, allegorical stories, and in a holistic manner by extending from one to the other in order to what? Encompass them all from the heavens to the earth. That's the concept that they had. The tree grows from earth, takes you up to heaven. And if you climb that tree, the aspect of your character, you make it to the top and you'll be connected back with Ra. Heaven and hell. You come here, you live right, do right. You get to the gates and tell them you know Jesus and you get on in. Okay, you go to the mansion, the big party in heaven, conceptually. You can make it. If you have truth, you ain't got to dress it up. You could, but you don't have to. Why? It's best served naked, honest, straightforward. So I give it to you raw. I ain't make a difference to me. I'm putting the cut on the truth. Nah, moving on. I don't even like to downgrade the truth, dumb it down, so to speak. But no, I would break it down. That ain't dumb it down. I'm gonna tell you the truth, but I'm not gonna not tell you the truth. How about that? Moving on. So next question. I hope that answered that question. And you see right here, the God and goddesses of the tree of Neteru and Thursday. This is the smaller version. But if you look at, you'll see at the top, you got Ra. Then you got Mayate, which is the twins Aset and Nephthys when they're in the Hall of Justice of Mayat at Judgment Day. They call it Mayate. Then you got Hetu, Hethar, which means Het Haru, the female spiritual aspect of Haru. Then you got Tahudi. Now they're not in the tree of life. They aspects of their own concepts. Okay, they tell you that now. So now the question is, what is the purpose of the Neteru? That's what I wanted to get you to. So I want to show you that because we're going to talk about the diagram I just showed you. I just broke it down, but it's right here. So let me get to it. The question, what is the Neteru? Answer, the Neteru, or single supreme being, emanates cosmic forces, and those cosmic forces are called Neteru, plural, more than one. Neter, singular. Neteru, plural. Or we call them God and goddesses. So from supreme divinity, the one, comes what? God and goddesses. And those God and goddesses are given a specific task. That's what makes them true. Why? Because if you follow that task that they set to do, you can learn, emanate them, and use them to your benefit. That's mastering the cosmic forces. They are cosmic forces that have what? Different vibrations. That means they produce different things in different ways. And they have different manifestations in time and space. They also have particular colors and ways of feeling. So we're giving them identity. We put them in a position where we can relate to them. For more insights into the Neteru, for more insights into the Neteru, see the following diagram. I just showed you that. That picture shows, it displays the Paute of creation. And it says the Anuyan theurgy along with the underlying principles. Again, they all people, but they actually represent functioning principles. So, which sustain them. The Paute means company of God and goddesses, again, male and female aspects. As explained earlier, gave that lesson, the Paute refers to what? Creation itself. When he came out, the first thing he did out of chaos, he said, Mayat. Why? He needed some order. So the whole universe is set on by Mayat. And the deities of the Paute are what? 9 in number, plus Ra, the creator, 10 commandments, and include, they are, again, Shu represents air, Tafnut represents moist air, Geb is the earth, Nut is the heaven, skies above, Asar, the first spirit, internal spirit and soul in man, Aset, she represents wisdom, intuitive knowledge, his wife, Set, the ego that's in you. Get an understanding of Set, please. If you misunderstanding, you can throw everything out of whack. Set is a unique thing. Your ego is unique its own way. Why? It has identity alone as within itself. When you put spirit with it, it had to acquiesce and it will give in and work for you. So it's not evil per se. Let's go. I say he's uncouth. That's another word. He don't know when not to do certain things. So he's a little rough around the edges. But he's your best fighter. Okay, again, it ain't the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight. The dog in Set got big fight. That's the point. Ain't good leader, hell of a servant. Moving on. Net that, his wife. Aset's twin sister, she represents mortality and she represents things that's going to die. She's death. Why? She's the mourner. Her and Aset, the great mourners. Okay, they know anything that's born will die. She represents mortality, nature. Isis, Aset, she represents immortality, wisdom, and intuitive knowledge. And then you got Heru. That's the offspring between spirit and intuitive knowledge, which is Asar and Aset, Haru, the original Trinity, Father, Mother, and the Son. Moving on. Nonetheless, I ain't going there. Then you got the Mayate, which is the two twins, which Aset and Netet. At the time of death, they're there to mourn. They're there to make sure everything go right. Het Haru, which is Hathor. Again, she represents the female aspect of your spirit. Haru, that's in all of us, the spirit. She just represents the female aspect. And then you got Tahuti. He ain't going nowhere without this. Tahuti is God's mind. You, I understand, Tahuti ain't going nowhere from the time you come here to the time you get a judgment. He's there. That's your mind. Unless you lose it. Okay, but that's what he represents. When God in the daytime, he only need order in his mind to do what he do in the daytime, across the daytime. When he get into another world, why? I need some help. Set. Come on, get over here. So that's the concept. I tell you, George got a record. If you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys. Wow, we about to get it. We about to go do work. If you know you about to go battle, you call up your best boys and, yo, I need you. And they come in, they asking the questions. They come to do whatever they need to do to help you. That's the crew. That's what your boys do. If you make the call, they coming. I'm part of a crew, so if I got the call, I'm just like them. I'm coming. Okay, I ain't the only one got to make the call. I answer calls too. Moving on. So where I was at, I don't know. Oh, if we talk about the guys, Mayate, Tahuti. Now, Tahuti and Mayate, Hathadu, and Tahuti are not part of the Paiute itself. Why? They are more subtler principles. Mayat represents order, and Hethu represents the female spirit, and Tahuti represents the mind. They're more subtle aspects of your character, but they're part of you. Remember, that's still you. Now, what's that? They're more subtle principles which support its existence. You got Apu, Anubis, the bastard son, which is Asar and Nephet's son. Asar represents the spirit, again, eternal spirit. So Anpu, Anubis, who y'all know him, is the son of mortality and eternal spirit. He's the God. He's the one that sees at death. He's the one that crushes you over. Either you're going to Amet or you're going to see Asar, his father. Again, Anpu is not a direct production of the Anuian theology. Why? Creation myth, because Paiute Party, company of God and goddesses. However, he is strongly related to the company as a product of what? The mating of two members of that company, because Set cannot reproduce. Nature, mortality, Nephthys had to get impregnated by the spirit to make her son. Okay, that's who he represents discernment. All right. And the two members of the company, which is Asar and Nephet, spirit, immortality, mortal life. I love it. And he represents what? Instinct as well as a purified mind. He ain't going for none of the nonsense. That's my discernment. I ain't going for that. I know the streets. I know the classroom. I know academia. You can't, ain't no game I can't play. Moving on. So he is what? A new principle emanating from the creation itself that represents the basic human mind at the level of what? Instinctual behavior, but not intellect or intuition. Remember, Aset represents intuition. Tahuti represents intellect. So he don't represent them. He just represents discernment. I do one thing. I teach right thinking philosophy. I don't sing, dance, tell jokes. I teach right thinking philosophy. Understand that. I'm not going to do anything else. So please don't ask me. Why? Because I won't do it. Simple. That's why. You know what I do? You won't ask me. Simple. Moving on. If you do what you do that. I ain't trying to do nothing else. What? Just what I do. Hopefully I'm good at it. Moving on. And I'm going to continue until I get good at it. How about that? Moving out. Where I'm at now. Okay, mortal life, yeah. Now, and he represents instinct and well of purified mind. That means he knows right from wrong. Okay? So he is now the new principle emanating from creation itself and represents the basic human mind at the level of instinctual behavior, but not the intellect. Oh, okay, my bad. He expresses what? The canine, he's represented by a dog, the canine cosmic force. And here you go, he represents instinct and sense of awareness as well as what? Correct discernment between right and wrong. When I was on the corner doing my thing, I had a few seconds to make a decision, friend or foe, fight or flight, police or a customer. Got good at that. Got good at that. Now, I use that same discernment about people in the spiritual realm. If you claim to be this, that, I don't give a damn what you claim. I'm going to check you out and I'll make my own decision based on my discernment. That's how I still use the acumen from the street and what I do everyday life. Ain't nothing changed. Okay, that's what it means. Use it. You got it. Use it. If not, you lose it. God said, if I give you something and you ain't using it, I'm gonna take it away. Simple as that. If you ain't using it, you're gonna lose it. Now, okay, with now, and now watch this. Now, this right discernment is important. Why? As it is necessary attainment for anyone who wants to enter what? Into the obelisk. What the obelisk? And start the journey of what? The tree of life, the journey of self-knowledge, aka psycho-spiritual journey, and enlightenment. The nihas. You want to reach the nihas. Spiritual beings. As human beings, our goal and our whole motive is to what? Gain knowledge of self. Hence, know thyself, reach spiritual enlightenment. Why? So that when this body runs out, you can go home, not back into another body. Just the concept. Moving on. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you want to enter the obelisk and start your spiritual cycle journey of self-knowledge and obtaining spiritual enlightenment. Now, Anubis, as the half-brother of Haru, an aspect of him, okay? Apu is his aspect of Whippawa. It is the preparatory step needed before engaging in the study of the first main principles of the tree of life that allows what? Vertical movement, upward movement, not horizontal movement. You want vertical ascension, going up. Now, in order to be successful and complete the psycho-spiritual journey, everyone, I mean, everybody born into the world of time and space have to make this journey through life. And everyone make the journey needs to what? Evolve spiritually. That's the lessons you have to learn. If you don't evolve spiritually, come on back. Why? You didn't get it right yet. You're here for a purpose and a reason. And if you believe, because you caught up in the worldly things, being rich and famous and have all that nonsense, you'll be back. If you get knowledge of self, understand, know God, serve him in the manner which is intended, when your physical body's over, he'll welcome you back home. Simple as that. So the characters of what? The myth, remember this is a myth to get you to understand, of creation is their various forms of what? Interaction with each other. In reality, it's really an elaborate mystic code relating to what? The areas of human consciousness, and it's spelled CONSCIENC. That means the consciousness heart, which need to be what? Developed in order to what? Grow spiritually. The first thing, what we notice when the divinities of the ancient Egyptian creation, based on the teachings of Anunnaki. Anu means the first time. So the Anunnaki saying they're the first one. That's what that concept, we ain't going there, but Anu means the first time, all right? And are placed in the hierarchical fashion based on what? Their order of creation, starting with Ra. Let there be Ra, light. And their mystic significance is that what? They are arranged, how? In accordance with their level of cosmological density and psychic relevance. Density here refers to what? Their order of their stability, as the elements composing the creation. We start with Ra, the sun, then you got air, moist air, the Geb, the earth, and Nut, the sky. That's the 5 elements. The 6th one is spirit, eternal spirit in the physical form, which is man. And Ra is the first principle which emerged out of the primeval waters. He is the subtlest, the singular principle of creation, the focus of oneness as individual divine conscious, spelled with a conscious, conscience. Whenever it's spelled that way, that means the heart conscious. Little tidbit. Okay. So in time and space, the ocean itself transcends time and space. The noon, it was here before we was. Okay. It's gonna be here after we leave. Why? It ain't going nowhere. We come and go. It don't change. And watch this. It's beyond existence and non-existence. Why? Because Ra is the first principle to emerge out of the undifferentiated essence, and his emergence signifies what? The beginning of existence, aka the Big Bang. We give it to you that way. Scientists give it to you that way. Though nobody know for sure, all you can do is surmise and theorize and conceptualize, so and mythologicalize. You don't have no facts. I ain't got a problem with that. But when you tell me something, it got to make sense. Simply that. I ain't going no further. Let's wrap this up with the figure of the main gods and goddesses that make up the Anuian tree of life. Here they go again. The 10, excuse me. You should know these people. They are you. These are all aspects of your personality. The first 5 is elements. From Asar down, you got spirit, you have wisdom, intuitive knowledge, you know mortality, you know you're a mortal being in the physical form, but spiritual is immortal. You got the ego self, which you not to get control over. Why? Because it's self-destructive and it will destroy you like it did your father who you reincarnated, and want to make sure that don't happen to you. At the bottom, that's you in your full glory. Haru Okay, that means you self-master on earth. And right quick, the second important idea derived from the Paiute is that what they represent who? The whole number 10. My man George Carlin. About 5,000 years ago, a group of guys got together and decided they're going to make a religion with this guy up in the sky who watches everything you do. And if you do bad things, he gives you 10 things that he wants you to do. And he said, why 10 commandments? Because 9 or 11, that's bullshit. No, but 10 sounds official. So they got that from us. They didn't make it up. Okay, we just put that in. So the second important is the number 10. Let's talk about it. And thus it conveys what? The idea of special symmetry is official, as well as the amount of numbers necessary to bring what? Creation into existence. We start with the creation story. I always start from the creation story. All the books that start in the beginning. This is the beginning. That's where we start. Okay. And to bring creation into existence, and also produce the seemingly endless multiplicity of forms where in time and space, physical creation. God has multiplied himself from the Neteru to the human beings over, and he haven't added nothing, and he lost a million and billions and haven't lost nothing. That's a bad man. Let's go. In the highest level, which is mean Ra, on the top, you may see right at the top of the chain, he is juxtaposed by what? The lower level of the Paiute, which the image is Haru. Again, that's you. Total connected to Ra, but you have to work your way up. Yeah, see the movement is all like this. It's all zigzag. That's the serpent. That's the Kundalini rising. Okay. So while the figure above may be understood as what? As matter in the form of Haru. So while the figure above may be understood as a reference to what? Higher, again, and lower idea, but in reality, the figure is not to be understood as a teaching of something that is above or better, or something that is below or lesser. It is a teaching which, watch this, which expresses the essence of creation that is below or lesser, that containing what? Subtle as well as a grosser objects, which all emanate from the same source. The ancient Egyptians' teachings states what? That which is above is the same as which is below, as above as below. That's the Hermetic principle. If the above and below teaching is to be applied, watch this, it should be understood as referring to the idea that everything in creation is a reflection of the spiritual essence, which transcends physicality. Therefore, that which produces good and evil in terms of that human being conceptualized, it is not God, but the perception and actions of human beings. God, God does not have good or evil. Human beings creates the distinction there what through their actions, feelings, and desires, as well as their relative outcomes of their evolutions of of them as they relate, watch this, to the practical human being doing the evolutions. You are the creator of that concept. Again, ain't nothing bad about God. God is divine, all true and all good. So when you start talking about what, if you ain't doing it, you the other guy. And what happens? Now, the physical universe is an emanation from the spiritual essence and as such is sustained by it, and the very matter which constitutes creation is in reality spirit, and in a condensed form, just as when a person falls asleep, here you go, their dream world is what? Condensed to their own what? Consciousness. You don't dream outside of yourself. Everything's inside. Watch this, which is partially composed of what? Subtle matter, individual identity, which is the ego. He ain't going nowhere. And what? The person's desires. If you feel your ego's desires, you are self-serving. Noon, watch this. Noon is what is the underlying primordial consciousness of creation. Everything starts from there. Ra may be seen as what? The soul of creation. And then Tahuti may be seen as the cosmic mind of creation. So who is Neteru? Neteru may be seen as the vital force, aka life force of creation. And then you got my girl Mayat bringing up the rear. She may be seen as the underlying order of creation. Tahuti, Neteru, and Mayat, along with Nephotep, I gave that lesson, Ayusa, Aseti, are the underlying principles again, which what? Sustain the Paiute. These are the forces that go to make up the forms of creation. That's the question and answer session. I hope you got to understand it. Hope I clarified you better. I got another one, but it's too long to go through. I'm looking at the clock, and I don't want to keep you too long. So hope you enjoyed the Q&A lesson for chapter 2. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you have passed away. Enjoy. I'm out.